We're just preparing to live stream. One moment. Good evening and welcome to Wincanton Town Council full council meeting on the 26th of April at 7 p.m. This meeting is being recorded on Zoom and live streamed on YouTube. I'm just checking to make sure there are no other participants waiting to come in. No, there aren't. So firstly, before I commence, we've had an interesting evening because we were unable to, we've had to postpone our annual parish meeting due to 7 clear days not being made available when the meeting was convened, under the Local Government Act 1972 Schedule 12. And tonight we're now moving into our full council meeting where we will go through the standard agenda and then go through the standard agenda. But first, can I check? So we have Patrick, who's taking the minutes for our meeting tonight, who actually works within a local parish council. Can I just ask, if I confirm who you are, that you raise your hand to confirm that you're in attendance? So I have Councillor Smith, Councillor Tudgay, Councillor Waters, Councillor Power, Councillor Thomas, Councillor Ralph, Councillor Shelbourne Barrow, and Councillor Vagg. Thank you. And we have a member of the public joining us, and we have a county councillor joining us who will join the meeting later on in the agenda. So thank you. Can I now just confirm that councillors have received the papers and have read the papers? So can I again have a hand to confirm? So I have Councillor Smith, Tudgay, Waters, Power, Thomas, Ralph, Shelbourne Barrow and Vagg, confirming they've received papers and understood the papers that have been received. So now what I'd like to do is move forward, and normally I would hold public participation. So I'm going to read that because we have one member of the public present in case they wish to speak. So before the meeting, the chair may allow public session to enable people to ask questions of the council and make comments in accordance with Standing Orders 3E and 3H. Questions are directed to council and should be restricted to matters on the agenda. Members of the public are not to verbally abuse or harass a member of council. Questions not answered in this meeting will be answered in writing to the person asking the question or may appear as an agenda item for the next meeting. Members of the public are asked to restrict their comments and/or questions to 3 minutes. So if a member of the public wishes to speak, can I ask that you remove your unmute, and if you wish to speak, put your camera on. Welcome, Kat.
Hello. Okay. Hello, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say that I think that the councillors are doing a fantastic job in their voluntary roles as town councillors. I appreciate all of the time and effort that they put in, and I think that it is not best appreciated by all residents, and I think you take a lot of commentary, shall we say, from other residents that I feel is sometimes undeserved. So I felt I wanted to join and say to you all that I know doing a voluntary role is very difficult. I think you have been done very well in a very, very difficult year with everything going on with COVID, and just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Councillor, I'm sure, wish to thank you for your positive comments on our behalf. So thank you very much, Kath. I appreciate that. So with no other members of the public present, I'm now closing public participation at 19:06 and moving to apologies for this meeting from councillors. I have not received apologies for this meeting. However, it is likely they have been sent into the office and therefore our deputy clerk will make us aware of it following the meeting. Are councillors aware of any apologies for tonight's meeting? No? Okay, thank you. I'll ask that we check with the office to confirm any that I'm not cited on.
Chair?
Yes.
Are you happy for me for the minutes to note, to take from the Deputy Town Clerk or other officers, note of who has sent apologies and put them in the minutes?
Yes, please. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So point 2 on the agenda is declarations of interest. So this is where members to declare any interest they may have in an agenda item that accord within the requirements of the Council's Code of Conduct. So are there any issues that councillors wish to raise at this time? I have lots of shaking of heads and no hands being raised. So thank you for that. I'm closing agenda item 2 and moving on to point 3, which is minutes of the previous meeting. So this is to receive and sign minutes of the Zoom meeting held on Monday, the 22nd. Yes, Councillor Ralph. You're muted, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Just had a message from Councillor Greening to say he's trying to join, so I'm just sending him the right details now. So
thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. So moving again, sorry, thank you for that. 3.3 minutes of the previous meeting, 3A. So it's Monday, the 22nd of March, in accordance with Standing Orders 12C. So can I ask councillors to firstly confirm if they have any amendments to page 1 for the 22nd of March, page 2, page 3, starting with to consider approving? No. Page 4, 0024 planning, any comments? Page 5 it starts with resolved. Moving on to page 6, G, to hear an update on the stakeholder group projects. Any comments? And the final penultimate page is to approve March 21 payment list. Any comments? And finally, the last page is the meeting closed at. Any comments? No. Okay. So can I have a proposer, please, for those minutes? I have Councillor Power. Can I have a seconder for the 22nd of March, please? Councillor Smith. And if you're for the approval of the minutes, I'm just going to let Councillor Greening in. If you're for approval of the minutes, can you please raise your hand? So I have Councillor Smith, Councillor Tudgay, Waters, Power, Thomas, Ralph, Shelbourne-Barrow and Vag. Thank you. So Councillor Greening, because you joined late, I'm afraid you've missed the opportunity to vote and will not be taken into account unless Patrick tells me otherwise in relation to those minutes, because we've approved them.
Chairman?
Yes, Patrick.
The number approving was 8, is that correct?
1, 2, 3. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 3B, to note the draft minutes and actions from the Zoom planning meeting held on the 8th of March. So councillors would have had receipt of this and it's to note. Next item on the agenda, 3C, is to note the draft minutes of the Zoom Open Spaces Committee meeting held on the 10th of March 2021. So that's to note as well. Thank you. So closing agenda item 3 on the agenda, moving to point 4, to review the action points of the previous meeting. So when I'm sure councillors have been through this. If we then go to the final page, sorry, I'll remove all the other bits. The final page, sorry, not the final page. There was an action that appears, oh no, it's completed. Sorry, I beg your pardon. An action that order and collect new equipment from Hunt's Forest Group is still outstanding unless Councillor Tudgay, are you aware that's been completed?
No, I'm not aware. I spoke with the works supervisor this morning and he didn't mention anything, but I would have thought that it should have been completed.
Okay.
I will double check on that in the morning.
Okay, thank you. So if we record that Councillor Tudgay will be following up that action regarding the 21022/7 order and collect new equipment. That I believe, oh, I beg your pardon, the only other action I think is outstanding is to arrange phased repair to the Mugger tarmac area. I'm sorry, Councillor Tudgay, I'm afraid I'm going to ask this of you again. Are you aware if there's any update on that?
Yes, that work has been carried out and completed to the satisfaction of the works supervisor. It was not as serious as we thought, and it turns out we took the right action in doing the work in the way we did. So yes, I can confirm that it has been carried out.
Excellent, that's really good news, and I look forward to having a visit and seeing that work. That's brilliant news. Thank you. So we're now close. Action point.
Sorry, Chairman.
Yes,
could you just for the minutes, could you confirm the works supervisor, is that an employee of the Town Council or the District Council?
It's an employee of the Town Council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to point 5 on the agenda, which is reports from county and district councillors. So I'd like to invite our county council representative if you wish to speak.
Yes, please, if I may.
Thank you.
I've sent you my report, which is mainly about everything that's happened in Somerset, so you should all have had that. My more local one has had a call from a resident last week about their concern about children crossing the road in Street and near Travers Perkins. All the children who live in that area have to cross the road to get to the primary school, and it's becoming increasingly busy, believe it or not, and very, very dangerous for them to cross. So I've sent an email to Gary Warren, the highway officer, to seek his advice, to do something to help. I included you in the email, but I would appreciate you contacting him as well to ask him for his assistance, so that we're both doing the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Tell the residents that there's no way that I can promise to put a zebra crossing in there, because a line of sight's the first thing that's the problem with it.
Yes.
But there must be an easier or better way that children could cross the road.
Councillor Vagg?
If I'm not wrong, and I don't pay that much attention because I don't have small children, but I believe we have a lollipop lady on Church Street and a lollipop lady opposite the school.
No.
So I'm not quite sure why they have to cross the road, why they don't go around to the lollipop lady. Is that not happening anymore?
No.
Firstly, I don't think they're called that anymore, Councillor Vagg. I think they're probably called a pedestrian crossing assistant.
Yeah.
But you knew what I meant.
Yeah.
I know. But just for clarity purposes, I think I don't know, and I'm seeing nodding of no's in terms of head, saying there aren't any of pedestrian crossing individuals to help children cross the road. I think what we will do as a council is consider. We need to consider what actions we'll take. So if I take it, Patrick, as an action that the council will review, work with our highways colleagues to understand what the opportunities are to support the safe crossing of children on our roads. Councillor Tudgay.
Chair, can we just go back to the actions of the order and collect new equipment?
Yes.
I've just had a message from the works supervisor. The wonders of technology.
Yes, the wonders of technology.
Two of 3 pieces of new equipment have arrived, just waiting for the strimmer. So
Okay.
that's the update. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Patrick,
Lovely.
did you record that 2 of the 3 items have been received?
I did, just waiting for the strimmer.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Councillor Tudgay. Moving back to, sorry, Councillor Vagg.
When did the crossing attendants disappear? There's always been a crossing attendant on Church Street as long as I've lived here.
I don't know. Councillor Tudgay.
I would suggest that they've been gone for 2 or 3 years, and whether County Councillor Groscott could.
No, they've been there more recently than that. I'm not sure about the Station Road, but the Church Street one has been there in the last 3 years for sure.
What I think would do
They're now
is
organised by the schools, so I don't know, because the county council don't organise them anymore. So I really don't know. I haven't been going to the district council offices for 2 years, so I don't know, because I used to see them every morning, but because I'm no longer a district councillor. But I know that there's no crossing down near Travis Perkins and Silver Street, and if you live that side of the road, it's impossible to cross the road on your own.
Yes. So can I say that we'll take an action following the concerns that have been raised, and you've seen that council will communicate with the Highways Agency to understand what the opportunities are for safe crossing. And I think we should also consider conversations with the schools to understand. Councillor Thomas, are you wishing to speak?
No,
right.
I'm listening, but I've just got my hand there, sorry.
We'll also communicate with the schools to ensure that they are aware there was an incident and what opportunities there are to communicate with parents once we understand what the opportunities are around supporting children and families crossing the road. So Patrick, can I ask, you've noted that as an action? Yes, Councillor Greening.
Claire is a governor at the Blue School, and I know that historically within the last 12 months that traffic, what did you call them?
I don't know, pedestrian.
Yes, operatives.
Traffic operatives were withdrawn in the last 12 months, certainly. But if you want, I can have take the ear of Graham from the school and see where he stands with that.
Okay, thank you. So we're noting that Councillor Greening is going to speak with the Blue School, which is the primary school.
Yeah.
Yes. Councillor Thomas.
I was just going to mention that I was about 2 weeks ago, I saw the lollipop or crossing person's lollipop stick, crossing lollipop, propped up against Travis Perkins Gate. So somebody's using one in that area for what? I don't know. But...
Okay. This is going to, yes, Councillor Ralph.
Say I don't want to add to this, but I don't think that was to cross children across the road. That is part of regulations. So when they see the lorries out, it's under a Chapter 8 agreement. They have to use a stop-go board.
Oh,
they're a police officer.
It's exactly the same as a lollipop ladies thing.
Yeah, it's the same because it's the same regulations.
How misleading.
You're pleased to hear I have nothing else to report.
Thank you, Anna. You're much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Chair, just before we move on.
Yes.
For the minutes, you did make a reference to an incident. Was there a particular incident or just the general matter of children being in danger?
There was an incident that, do you wish to speak regarding the incident? Councillor Gross?
No, I don't, because I didn't witness it or anything. I've just had reported there were several near misses.
Okay.
For the minutes, that would be sufficient for my purposes.
Thank you,
Patrick.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Any other comments in relation to crossing safely within Wincanton at this time? So thank you, Councillor Greening, for your offer, and we as a council will approach the Highways Agency. Moving on, because there are no other members of District Council present. So closing point 5, moving to 6, council matters. So to note, we were going to note the annual report because that's been shared with councillors. However, we haven't presented the annual report because we've had to postpone the meeting. So I'm feeling that we should move that back and get approval from council to do so that we bring that back to council once we've presented the report. Can I ask for council's views on that, please, before proposing a motion? No views? Okay, so I'm going to, Councillor Tudgay.
Well, I was going to say I would propose that we postpone this item until a later date.
Thank you. So a proposal is to move this item back until we have a confirmed date for the annual parish meeting. Councillor Ralph.
I'll second that proposal.
So Councillor Ralph has seconded. Can I have if you're for supporting that proposal, please, can you raise your hand? So I have Councillor Greening, Smith, Tudgate, Waters, Power, Thomas, Ralph, Vag and Shelbourne Barrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
That's 9 votes, correct?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll try and remember to say that,
Thank you.
Patrick, for clarity purposes. I'll try, although you may need to remind me. 6B is to reinstate the car parking. It says working group. However, on our website, it actually says committee, and confirm the councillors who attend. So in this group, we elected councillors to this committee at the beginning of last year. And I'm not aware that to reinstate, I'm presuming, as they're still live on our website, we haven't actually re-elected them for the new year. So we would do that on the 4th of May, the new car parking committee. So currently the car parking committee is Councillor Smith, Thomas, Vag, Power and Shelbourne Barrow. So as it stands, they're the current committee. Can I have a proposal to support that we reinstate the car parking committee? And then once we've had that proposal on the 4th, we'll clarify who the membership is. So is that okay with everyone if we do it that way?
Yeah.
So can I have a proposer for reinstating the car parking committee, please? And a seconder. So I'm
Can
sorry.
I just suggest that maybe a vote like this is done after the elections?
It's not the elections, it's the committees will be approved on the 4th of May. So other councillors can actually attend the meeting. We just need a core group to actually run the meeting.
Right, okay.
So after the elections, other councillors will be able to attend any of the meetings we have within our formal calendar of meetings, committees and working groups. They just may not have, we'll clarify the voting for that.
Yeah.
So in terms of the committee, because of the car parking committee, I'm proposing we reinstate with the current membership and we'll review it on the 4th. Can I ask for a seconder to that proposal, please? Councillor Thomas. And those that are for reinstating with the name councillors present on that list. So I have Councillor Greening, Smith, Tudgay, Waters, Power, Thomas, Ralph, Vag and Shelbourne Barrow. Thank you very much.
Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Those numbers, 9 was it?
9, it was 9. See, I forgot. And no one put their hand up.
That's all right. Just wanting to clarify, to the best of my understanding, the membership of committees does not have to be redone every year. That rolls on. It's simply the chairmanship that's got to be, the chair of committee has got to be re-elected, or elected rather, after the in the May meeting.
At the main meeting, because it's not a standing committee. Yes, thank you for that, Patrick.
But the membership will roll on. There's no need to re-elect them.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for confirming. Are you able to move on now?
Yep.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is 7, finance. So colleagues would have had 7A to approve the April 2021 payment list. So colleagues would have received this, and this is our Scribe new finance, our financial package Scribe. So are there any comments in relation to page 1 or 2 of the payments list? I'll leave a moment because there's an awful lot of them on there if there's any questions. No, no one's putting their hands up. Is everyone happy to now vote, or do you wish to have a few more moments to look at it? No one's doing anything. So can I therefore have a proposer for the payments list? Councillor Tudgate, a seconder, please. Councillor Power, and if you're for the payments list, can I have ask you to raise your hand? So I have Councillor Greening, Smith, Tudgate, Waters, Power, Thomas, Vag, Ralph, and Shelbourne-Barrett. That's 9.
Thank you.
Full complement. I remembered.
Well done.
So the next part of that agenda item is to confirm 2 individuals to go into the town hall and sign cheques as it currently stands. So can I have 2 people who are approved to be signatories to put their names forward? Councillor Waters and a second, Councillor Vag. Thank you. So Councillor Waters and Councillor Vag are the 2 councillors who will go in to sign the cheques tomorrow, please, if you can, or the day after. Thank you. Patrick, are you happy to move on, or do you want further clarification?
Yes, I just wanted to check that, as I see it, the implication is you don't need to resolve that. It's simply arranged rather than resolved. Is that correct?
Yes, we don't need to vote on the.
Yeah.
Do we need? We don't need to vote on the 2 named people.
So I just wanted to
need to. Yes. Yeah. Apologies. It's just the payments we need to do. Absolutely. So we've completed that. Thank you. 7B, grant letters for consideration and approval. So councillors would have received the grant letters in advance of the meeting for you to read. One of them notes that the application didn't move forward because it is a late submission, so the grant was refused. And the others, which is one, the grant approved for MHA South Somerset, the grant approved for the Balsam Centre, the grant approved for Wincanton Recreational Grounds, the grant approved for Wincanton District Museum and History Society. I'm just going through them now. The grant approved for South Somerset Community Accessible Transport, the grant approved for the Wincanton District Gardeners, the grant approved for Wincanton Over 70s Christmas Lunch, and finally, but not least, the grant for Wincanton War Memorial Hall, which was approved. And obviously, as I said, the one that has been refused for South Somerset Citizen Advice Bureau because it was a late submission and didn't qualify under our agreement. So councillors, have you read the grant letters, or do you wish to go through one at a time? No, no one's asking to go through one at a time. Okay, so can I then ask, if there are no questions, can I ask for a proposer? Firstly, are there any questions? No questions? Can I ask for a proposer, please, for all of the grant letters? I have Councillor Power. Can I ask for a seconder for approving all of the grant letters? Councillor Waters. And if you're for approving all the grant letters, can I ask that you raise your hand and I will count you off? So Councillor Greening, Councillor Smith, Tudgate, Waters, Power, Thomas, Ralph, Vag and Shelbourne-Barrett are for the approval of the grant letters. So that's a full complement, which is 9, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Chair. Could you just for the minutes, I'm not sure your convention, would you like those grants listed in the main body of the minutes or as an attached document?
They can be listed in the main body of the minutes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on now to the next item on the agenda, 7C, which is Section 106, seal payments to consider and agree action. So councillors, you would have received the notification that came through of potentially grants that are available to us if we're able to secure those. Tonight, we won't be making decisions about those grants because A, some of them we can't, and B, it wouldn't be appropriate to do so without the formal documentation being completed. But as just to set context to this, councillors will be aware we've been requesting for some time, well before Christmas 2020, leading up to the completion of the starting process for the grant applications and the precept and budget setting for clarity on our Section 106 payments and seal payments, which are community infrastructure levies. And for members of the public who are listening, this is payments that are secured against applications that are approved, not from council, but externally, potentially from district and county council, depending on what they are, that we then receive a portion of that back into council against agreed pieces of work that are agreed with the provider. So there's a formal agreement put in place. And because we also have a neighbourhood plan, we clarify for a further 25%, I think it is, on top of that, which equates to a reasonable sum. So what I would suggest, councillors, we've had it's detailed, as you can see, but not in a detail that will enable us to discuss in great detail how we'd manage it. So I would like to propose, or unless anyone else has any other options, that we take this item to the Finance Committee that's due to take place on the 5th of May for a more detailed review of the opportunities within the seal and Section 106 Section 106 opportunities, so to make a decision to come back to council once we have greater clarity on what the opportunity is. Councillor Ralph.
I would support that, Chair, because though this document gives a lot more detail than we've ever had before, it is still unclear in places. So I think we need someone to look at it carefully.
Yes, thank you. Any other comments? So, okay. I'm sorry, when people move their arms, I tend to stop until you finish moving, just to make sure I haven't missed anything. So the proposal is we take it to the Finance Committee on the 5th of May for further clarification to be sought. Do I have a seconder on that, please? Councillor Vagg, and a vote for. So if you're for the proposal to take the Section 106 and seal payments to finance for further clarity and then to come back to council, I have Councillor Greening, Smith, Tudgay, Waters, Power, Thomas, Ralph, Vagg and Shelbourne-Barrow for. So Patrick, Councillor Greening, you still have your hand up. Are you okay?
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Can I just confirm that's 9, Patrick, so that is approved?
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. Could I just check for the minutes, the clarity that you're seeking will be from the grant awarding bodies, i.e. county and district council, is that correct?
Yes, we are. And we will be asking the Finance Committee to undertake that on our behalf to then come back to council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm just going to have a cough. Apologies. Item next 8 is, sorry, I beg your pardon, exclusion of press and public. To consider the exclusion of press and public for the remainder of the meeting under the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act 1960, Section 1(2), on the grounds the discussion of the following business is likely to disclose confidential information relating to residents and or business sensitivity. So on that note, I would like to move to a motion to actually exclude and to remove us from YouTube and to cease recording the meeting. Can I therefore have a proposer and a seconder, please, for that motion? Councillor Ralph, are you proposing? Thank you. Councillor Tudgay, are you seconding? You are, thank you. And 4, to move to exclusion of press and public. Can you now raise your hands if you're for that? I have Councillor Greening, Smith, Tudgay, Waters, Power, Thomas, Ralph, Vagg and Shelbourne-Barrow. So Patrick, that's a full complement.
Thank you.
I'm now closing the meeting on YouTube at 19:35. Thank you very much for your attendance, Councillor Ralph. And I'm now going to ask councillors to wait for a moment so that I can end the meeting on YouTube.